All right, is Cassie here?
I'm here. Hi, Dr. Valerie.
Hi, good to see you.
Yeah.
Ah, how did this journey begin for you, Cassie? How did you find yourself during the thriving experience? Feeling that this journey is for you. What gave you that sense of okay, I'm gonna take that next step. I'm gonna schedule my call and go from there.
So I actually did not go to the thriving experience before starting work. I heard about the book from actually Kate Northrup. I'm in one of her programs, and she had mentioned your book multiple times, and she mentioned so many books. And usually I'm just like, yeah, yeah, like another book to read. And then one day I was just in my office and your book, the title just popped into my mind. And I was like, I have to order it right now. And it was back in May. So we were in the pandemic. I do have two small kids, a 5-year old and a 3-year old. So I was suddenly at home with them all the time without childcare, without school, without any help. And the way that I was feeling was just tons of anxiety. I'm highly sensitive, highly empathic, and I was very, very hooked into all of the collective energy. And I didn't necessarily realize that, but I was getting the realization that I felt unsafe in my body. And that was sort of terrifying because if I'm unsafe in my body, like what else do I have? Like this is my home. And so I got the
Mm.
book and I started reading it and I was just every page like, "Oh my gosh, this explains everything." And I was equally just in love with the content but also triggered like why is it like this for all of us? This is horrible. And so I was towards the ends of the book and I had heard mention of a program. So I was like, I'm just gonna email right now. And so I did my call with you, Dr. Valerie. And the program was starting in like 2 or 3 days. And that was a little terrifying to start a program that was starting in 2 or 3 days. But I joined in the summer cohort, the Thriving Solution, and that just completely blew my mind. Like all the tools that I learned and just the ideas presented. And I just was feeling changes in my life. And then I did attend the August retreat. And it was right at the time of the end of the Thriving Solution. And at the August retreat, that I was like, I need to do more. I have to keep going with this. And that again, it was completely like exciting, but also terrifying. And so I knew in my bones that I wanted to keep going. And a lot of the women here like have been support systems for me in making that decision to keep going. And all of you, thank you so much. But I made the decision, but it still took me several weeks, even after having the call. My logical brain wanted to get all the facts. And then I came to my husband, and he was just spewing all this. He's a wonderful guy, but all this stuff about you're taking money from the children to do this, and you're very selfish. And I just got the feeling that I wasn't trustworthy at all. And he did eventually come around and he did give me his blessing to do what I wanted, but it's still, I really felt it in my body like this whole going against the patriarchy, like I'm choosing to do this thing for myself. And so I joined the program and it's been completely transformational. So I've been in the Thriving Circle for 2 months now, and I just feel like a completely different person. Like my normal state of being is a lot lighter. I feel happy. I feel safe getting to be happy, getting to have pleasure. every single day with my kids now, we turn on the celebrate song and we celebrate together and we sing and we dance. And I started doing it every time I get an email showing that I got money coming into my account for my business. And then it sort of morphed. I started to tell my kids, "Oh, let's celebrate this, let's celebrate that." And then now I just ask them what they want to celebrate, and they just on their own ask to do it too. And I see a shift in my family too. In my husband, like he's just like 2 days ago, he was like, "You seem so much more free." And it's true. I used to never be able to be silly. Like it just if someone was trying to joke with me, like I just took it really personally and thought that they were picking on me. And that is really changing. But I really think the biggest thing is the capacity, the emotional capacity. And I still have days where I feel really sad or upset, but the tools of allowing all the emotions to be there, it makes such a difference. And just having the support of the group, just having somebody that I can reach out to and say, like, look, this is what's going on. And they can validate me and be like, yeah, that's your prison cards. That's not you. That's the patriarchy. So it's been really incredible. And I really can't thank you enough, Dr. Valerie. I'm just so happy, and I still have a lot more to go, but thank you.
Oh, Cassie, thank you. Thank you for sharing with such candor the reality of what that was like to take every step, how much back and forth kind of doubt there was, because although you knew in your body, in your bones, you could feel it, this is a journey for you, but then the rational mind and the prison guards were like back and forth and back and forth. And then your husband, right? And this is so big, and there is this conversation happening, like I see it like pop up from time to time in social media about how it's easier for women oftentimes to go and demonstrate and participate in a protest and be outspoken out there than to actually be assertive and ask for what they want at home, because it is so right. It brings up so much, and we feel like we're risking so much by rocking the boat. And it's just your courage has been so beautiful in that. And yeah, and we have men's program coming up soon. We'll share more with you about that. Um, and I love seeing and hearing from you what changes you've been seeing with your kids. It's interesting what, like, your husband's way of like prison guarding you out of that decision was um, saying like, you're taking money from the kids, you're a bad mother, you're doing something that's going to harm our kids. What have you seen happen with your kids? I love your shares about what you're doing with your kids. Can you
Yeah,
share with
I
us a little
did.
bit,
I
Cassie?
mean, I noticed that a lot of times after we have one of our group calls, or if I have one of my individual coaching sessions, like for example, yesterday we had a group call. And when I came back to my kids after the call, my kids were just smiling and beaming, and they weren't with me for an hour. And something that I did on my own and just changing my presence change who they are. And I have, for since the time I became a mother, I've had this constant narrative in my head: "You're a bad mom. You're a bad mom. You're a bad mom." Like record player on repeat constantly. And I like have just recently noticed that I barely hear it anymore, barely ever. Um, and I'm noticing that I'm actually really an amazing mom, and I just
Yes.
and I also used to feel really upset that my own mom like didn't love me, like there was something wrong with me. And I really noticed it when I had my children because I thought, oh, well, if I was just a certain way, then my mom would have loved me more. But I see that it's
Mhm.
all patriarchy. It's all the programming, and my mom did the very best that she could with the programming that we're all given. And I just feel, I have two children, they're 5 and 3, and these are really formative years in their life. And I'm allowing them to express all their emotions. I'm actually teaching them how to punch pillows and kick on the couch, and just like when they're mad and they see me doing my like daily survival to thriving meditation with them right there, and they're like, mommy, what are you doing? I'm just like, oh, I'm discharging. So I just, you know, I don't know. I feel really good about the example that I'm setting for them. And I actually, for the first time in months, had a house cleaner come and clean our house. And I just had forgotten like how good that felt to have my house all cleaned at the same time. And I did not feel safe. And it was really a conversation within our pods that encouraged me to get that cleaner to come back. And I'm just so grateful for that.
That's so awesome. Yeah, pods for clarity. These are it's a part of our as a part of our programs. We connect women in small groups. We call them pods, where they become really one another's support systems and lifelines, where they can share whatever is coming up and message, and kind of always be there supporting each other. So your pod sisters have supported you in getting the house cleaner. A big win. And what you're doing with your kids, and that compassion that you have for your mom and for yourself, for your childhood, is so really world changing. It's true. Our parents have experienced a lot of trauma, as did their parents. It didn't start with us. It didn't start with them. And that compassion goes a long way, as well as your own regulation of your nervous system. It's amazing that you reflected like you were not with your kids for an hour. You definitely were not doing anything with them, but you were doing something for you. And you come in and they're happy, and their nervous systems are in this good place because yours is.